After learning about the situation, Ars decides to give up on making Charlotte his retainer. After a while, Ars spots those children in distress. Upon inquiry, Ars learns that Charlotte has been abducted by the slave trader. Meanwhile, after capturing Charlotte, the underlings of the slave trader start beating her. But then, Rietz enters the room and he immediately takes out multiple underlings of the slave trader. Then, Ars also enters the room. During their conversation, the slave trader realizes that Ars is a noble. Ars then asks the slave trader to release Charlotte immediately. Ars implies that Charlotte has no ambition. In other words, she has already given up on life. Meanwhile, the slave trader starts laughing at his statement. The slave trader implies that Charlotte is a slave and she has no control over her future. On the other hand, Ars gets angry. He tells the slave trader that it is up to her to decide what she becomes and they can't steal that away from her. By the way, Charlotte has given up on crying since she has been through a lot. She also gave up on her dreams and focused only on surviving. But Ars's words move her to tears. After that, the slave trader calls all of his underlings to deal with Ars and Rietz. Thus, Ars requests Rietz to deal with them. As a result, Rietz enters his serious mode. Then he goes on a rampage, thus destroying everyone. Meanwhile, Charlotte realizes that Rietz is too strong. With no other choice, the slave trader calls his trump card. Meanwhile, Charlotte tries to warn Ars. But after using appraisal on that big dude, Ars assures her that everything is all right. Thus, their fight begins. Rietz easily knocks out that big dude. Meanwhile, everyone is surprised. Then, Ars decides to buy Charlotte in order to free her. At first, the slave trader refuses, but then Rietz steps in and threatens him. After some back and forth, the slave trader agrees to release Charlotte. Charlotte then takes Ars and Rietz to a mountain. Well, she wanted to show them a beautiful view of her town. Charlotte then asks why Ars wants to build a town where even people like her can live stable lives. In response, Ars implies that it is because he loves children. He believes that a child's smile is full of hope, and he wants to protect that smile. He also expresses his desire to build a town where people can be hopeful about their future. After that, Charlotte agrees to become his retainer. Thus, Rietz decides to test Charlotte. Initially hesitant, Charlotte decides to give magic a try. She manages to unleash a massive spell on her first try. Meanwhile, everyone is stunned. After that, Charlotte finally acknowledges Ars as her master.